Hello, and welcome to another episode of the 1995 Rewind, where we look at films from 1990 that are turning 35 here in the year 2025. And hard to believe, but we are entering the final four in this countdown, the final four in the last countdown for the year. And that kicks off today with The Godfather Part 3. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. This is the third and final installment in the Godfather franchise, and it was quite a gap between Godfather Part 2, which was released in 1974 and won Best Picture, and The Godfather Part 3, which returns and kind of caps off Michael Corleone's story in 1990. The film obviously not set that far in the future, but it's set reasonably far in the future to account for everyone having aged. Michael Corleone still trying to be on that dream of turning his family's empire legitimate, gets involved with the Catholic Church, has an interesting relationship with his ex-wife Kay, played by Diane Keaton, and his kids. Pretty close to his daughter. That ends up having its own negative turns. So you're looking at a new generation still dealing with plenty of threats out there, some existential threats, and it feels in a lot of ways like a fitting end. They've recut this movie a few times. If you've seen The Godfather Coda, the death of Michael Corleone, that was kind of a redone, recut version of The Godfather Part 3, probably a little bit of a better version of the movie. But either way, this one doesn't stand up to the other two, but I think it's probably a movie that gets more hate than it deserves. It's also a very interesting watch if you want to finish that Godfather saga out. Al Pacino is still very good here. It still did earn a Best Picture nomination, maybe kind of a courtesy because people love the franchise so much. There are some weak notes. There are some storylines that don't quite work for me, but still a movie I've seen quite a few times because I'm a Godfather completist. So it felt like one that needed to land on this list. And in fact, this last four are really movies that I like, that I've watched quite a few times. And this one kicks that off. So for today's rewind, The Godfather Part 3, the end of a saga. Next week, I will be back with a pretty action-packed one that takes us to action on the track. So I'll see you next week for the rewind.